Caroline Leavitt is, sort of reading the riot act to these reporters saying, listen, like, this is not an enviable position, but is the reality of where we are now. And so, sure, the president's joking around a little bit with the meme and the Grim Reaper, but the reality is that he's been handed this opportunity. And so it's an opportunity he can't actually ignore. Listen.
That this is an unfortunate consequence, but the president has described this as an unprecedented opportunity to lay off additional workers. He's posted a video likening Russ Vogt to the Grim Reaper. So which is this? Is this an opportunity to fire more workers or an unfortunate consequence?
Look, the president likes to have a little fun every now and then, and I think both things can be true at the same time. The Democrats have given the administration this opportunity, and we don't like laying people off. Nobody takes joy in that around here, and if you think that, then I think that's very sad. You view the White House and our staff as wanting to put people out of work. Nobody wants to do that, but sometimes in government you have to make tough decisions.
And he's willing to make the decisions, all right? Let's be really clear. He has no problem making those decisions. Hakeem Jeffries living out there in La La Land over on Congressional, on the Hill today. I want you to see what his response to all of this is. I mean, how stupid can you be?
At the end of the day, the public knows that Donald Trump and Republicans have shut the federal government down, and that they're continuing to engage in the chaos and the cruelty and the corruption that we've seen from this administration from day one of the presidency. Again,
do you dare me? You know where I'm going, right? I got it here. I can't help myself.
It's a disgusting video, and we're going to continue to make clear bigotry will get you nowhere. We are fighting to protect the health care of the American people in the face of an unprecedented Republican assault.
I mean, that was just great. That was precious. That was meme 2.0, right? Because the original one had already come out. So he's out there saying the American people know this, the American people know this. No, the American people don't actually think that you're looking out for them in any way, shape, or form. In fact, everything I've seen, and I've looked at all the poll data, is the American people are actually blaming Democrats. That's why you guys have literally no future right now. I'm looking at your poll numbers. I mean, this is bad. I mean, it's so obvious. It's like I could be a Democrat consultant tomorrow. I wouldn't be, but honestly, they ought to like watch the show because I think they would get a lot of ideas on what not to do. And it's like you can't sit there and lie to us anymore. We've been lied to way too much. And I mean, I realize that Jake Tapper over on CNN is probably looking for his next gig at Fox. Yeah, he's the guy that scolded Lara Trump when she said, "Oh, can you get it out, Joe?" He played that clip of her and then brought her on his show and then said, "Lara, you're making fun of little kids everywhere that have a stutter. Did you know that Joe Biden had a stutter?" She's like, "I didn't know he had a stutter. I really think it's a mental decline." "Oh no, how dare you? How dare you say it's a mental decline?" And he went on and on and on about that. And then he came out, what do you know, with a book on the cover up of the mental decline, which he was part of course. Maybe he's trying to get himself out of trouble. I don't know. I do think he's looking for a job at Fox, which is partly why he's actually owning up to reality with Hakeem Jeffries. Here we go. The clip. Some of you saw this yesterday, but it's good. It's worth understanding how hypocritical these people really are.
Donald Trump blessed it as well.
So let me ask you about a provision that the Republicans are talking about quite a bit. I know you want to talk about, and Democrats want to talk about, extending the Obamacare subsidies, which expire at the end of 2025. But they talk about the provisions, and it's right here, subtitle E, and this has to do with the repeal of healthcare subtitle changes, and specifically what it is. How they characterize it is you want to give health insurance to undocumented immigrants. I understand that's not really an accurate depiction, but what it does do is...
It's a lie.
It's a lie, but what you support does bring back funding for emergency Medicaid to hospitals, some of which does pay for undocumented immigrants and people who don't have health insurance. And also there is this provision, and it's not about undocumented immigrants, it's about people with asylum seekers and people with temporary protected status, et cetera, but about their ability to get Medicaid. So they're non-citizens, they're not undocumented, they're not illegal. Why even include that in a bill, knowing that they're going to seize right upon that and use that to message? I understand that.
He doesn't have much of an answer for that. The answer is because I'm a moron, all right? And the entire party is moronic. And we've got Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and myself, Hakeem Jeffries, minus the sombrero today. And we don't know what we're doing. And then we got socialists like Bernie Sanders and AOC that are scaring the living daylights out of us. And so we are frozen in time and we can't actually move. And so he just gets the upper hand over and over and over again. But, he has to do this right now because otherwise, think of the consequences, you guys. Do you really want your hard-earned taxpayer dollars going to all kinds of other programs all around the world? I don't think so. But this is what would happen, okay? Think about California. Fox did a report on this morning. Watch.
Last year, the Golden State spent nearly $6.5 billion on health insurance for migrants, and through a Medicaid loophole has shifted most of the cost to the federal government. Here to react to Fox and Friends Weekend co-host Charlie Hurd and Griff Jenkins. Part of that, Charlie, is that the Medicaid is reimbursed 50% by the federal government. And when you go to a hospital, you have to be treated. Yeah. When a illegal immigrant shows up, there's a pile of money for them to be treated.
Yeah, and of course, this is not a fluke either. This is not just some one random thing happening in one state, like a crazy state like California. This has been a central plank of the Democrat Party for years now. Everybody now remembers that in 2020, during the Democrat primary, they were asked who here supports giving free health care to illegal aliens, and every single Democrat running for the nomination put up his hand and said that they support that. And of course, this also comes after we went through COVID, where Democrats led the efforts in all of these big cities, including New York City, spending billions of dollars, billions of taxpayers' dollars on free housing for illegals. So this is not some random thing. This is actually part of their intentional policies.
It's true, right? And so you think about it, and what about everyday Americans that are actually going to be suffering as a result of this? I mean, they're sitting there saying, well, what about me? What about us? Like, what about everyday folks that deserve to have some of this? I mean, this is the question they're asking right now, and we've seen this actually all over TikTok, all over Twitter. Let me see if I have a good one to show you right now because it's worth watching. Hey, Dems, you want to know why your polls are so low? Listen to this lady.
So the Democrats want to give away $1.4 billion of free money to the immigrants for health care. And if not, if the other side don't agree with it, they talking about shutting down the government. Why the do you fight so hard for everybody but your own people? What about us?
What about us? That's what everybody's asking. That's why your polls keep tanking. It's true. I mean, that is the crux of the issue here. I mean, you're not standing up for the people that really count. And it's not that, let's not be cruel. Like, we get it. You know what? We're a country of immigrants. My ancestors came here from Ireland. Everybody came here from somewhere. But they came here legally. All right, and it wasn't easy. I went through the sob story the other day about, how my grandmother died, great because we're talking about potato famine years, but she died and she had these two little kids because, like coming over on those ships, it wasn't easy, and she had these two little kids, and the great grandfather had to go and work in the mill, the Amoskeag Mills up in New Hampshire, and so the kids got put in an orphanage. And they, my mom's mom, let me get this right, my mom's mom, there we go, her grandmother grew up in an orphanage. She said, my grandmother never really hugged us. She didn't really know how to do that. Her mom was really insistent on always hugging her kids. So, my mom was super affectionate because she wanted to break that tradition. But when you grow up in an orphanage, right, but that was part of what happened, okay? So, yeah, there was a system. I mean, maybe not, nobody wants to be in an orphanage, but, you weren't going to the Roosevelt Hotel either, right? So I think that things were hard for immigrants that came here to this country, and I think things are still hard. And, I don't think any of us are heartless. This is where community and churches and all of this really can come into play, but we're also realists. You just can't keep inviting people here, okay? If you don't have any kind of plan, Well, they had a plan. I mean, their plan was, oh, bring them one, bring them all. And then we're just going to give them stuff. And then they're going to want more stuff to be given. A lot of them come from countries like Venezuela, for example, where they're used to that. You know, you just wait for somebody to hand something to you. And then you can remake the United States of America into the socialist dream that AOC has somewhere in that very, very small brain of hers. We don't want that. We're not going to stand for it. And neither is Donald Trump.